was actually a very heavy kid. The least I could ever remember weighing, and I believe this was first grade, was almost 120 pounds. I was always a big kid. Not, well, there's no way around it, I was fat. Contrary to a lot of other bodybuilders, I didn't really have a large interest in sports. Growing up in the 80s, I was a huge fan of WWF. The 80s in general, muscle was cool. Everybody was jacked. Always being heavy, yet kind of having this ideal picture in my head of what a male should look like, I think that influenced me a lot. If I could just be skinny, I would have been happy. Once I approached high school, I decided I was gonna lose weight. I was probably desperate, just to lose the weight. I was maybe determined. I was sure as hell determined. I'll be damned if I wasn't gonna accomplish it. So I started running a lot. Over the course of a year, I dropped like 70 pounds. I was thin, I was in shape. I was running 6 miles a day, and for the first time in my life, I was actually in shape. Unfortunately, I still didn't look the way I wanted to look. Like I envisioned myself being ripped and, tight. Growing up in the 80s, we were educated on the food guide pyramid, which, carbohydrates were the base of your diet. Fats were the enemy, and you eat fat, you get fat. When I was trying to lose weight, what did I do? I ate a ton of carbs. I ate like no fat. I just avoided it. If it was breakfast cereal and it had, 1,000,000 grams of sugar and no fat, it was okay. It flew. That was cool. At the time, it did work for weight loss. It didn't really work well for improving my body composition, and I know that I lost a lot of muscle. Probably my dad had more of an opinion than anyone, but he essentially told me I was nuts. He told me I was defeating myself. You're not going to accomplish anything with the weights, getting more muscular if you're going out and running so much and then not eating enough. I was in shape, but I think really an honest assessment was that I was kind of skinny fat. And I realized that I needed to weight train if I was going to look the way that I wanted to look. So once I put the running to the side and started eating more, I just exploded. Probably throughout college is when I made the most progress. I was very, very diligent with eating and training, and I was willing to forego the beach muscles and, a six-pack, and just wanted to be big. And once I finally got out of college, I was training at a local gym. It was a World's Gym at the time, and it was a big guy training there. We became friends, and we started training together. Eventually he said, you got to do a show. I remember we were 11 weeks away from a contest, and he said, there's a show coming up in just about 10 weeks. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I wasn't in great shape at the time, but I took those 10 weeks, and I probably started off around 260 or so, and I competed 10 weeks later at 225. Shredded. I suffered. I suffered hard for that show. I didn't have a lot of expectations going into my first show. I wasn't going there to get my ass kicked, I can tell you that. But when it came to the drive or the motivation, I didn't need to watch anything or see anything. I didn't need anyone's encouragement. I was so afraid of getting on stage and not being in shape. I was like, that is not gonna happen. I'm not gonna go up there and feel out of place or embarrass myself. I said, I will be damned if I'm not shredded to the bone. I ended up winning the heavyweight class. I placed first in the heavies, and I won the overall. Even if I wasn't bodybuilding, I think there's something in my DNA. I'm a builder in some fashion or another. I like creation. I think that's an innate human quality. I think a lot of us feel that. Bodybuilding is no different than a bank account. Every day, if you add just a little bit to it, you will build something eventually. I see so many people now, and they say, where do you find your motivation? How do you keep it up? And for me, I never thought much about it. It's because it's something I want to do. Well, once I get something in my head, that's the end of it. Bodybuilding happens in reps, in sets, and in grams of protein. For me, all those little things add up, and bodybuilding is definitely a game of inches. I think a lot of people, they need this constant encouragement or motivation or reassurance. They see a lot of things that come along with the success of it, and they like all those things. But they don't really like bodybuilding or training or eating. I like that. I would still do it if I wasn't getting paid. I did it when I wasn't getting paid, and I did it really well. Your motivation should come from within. I'm not saying you don't find inspiration in things. Sure, you shouldn't have to rely on it.